Morning, welcome back to PNT Every. I'm Murgesh, lovebird breeder. Today we are going to talk about the topic which is very important and very key, as well as it's a very basic, but it's very important for running in a lovebird every. Just to say that the topic will be, one is space management in the bird room or a bird room setup or a every. Second is time management. The time management is you are going to manage your time and how much time that you can give in a day to the birds that you are owning for. Number three is a balanced diet, which is very important to give the lovebirds the kind of diet it required, because we are breeding the birds, and when you breed, there's a lot of things that takes for the birds to breed on a regular basis. Number four, it's going to be cleaning process of the bird room or aviary that we are going to keep it. The last but not the least, the kind of ventilation that you provide to the birds. Remember, when we talk about the ventilation, birds is to be in jungle, in the open air, and we are going to keep them in a closed room. So it's very important for you to monitor and ensure there's enough ventilated time. So let's talk about the space management. When you talk about a space management, I have, in a very short nutshell time of my experience, I have visited aviaries which has 10 pairs, and I visited an aviary which has 700 pairs in it. The most common things that I noticed in 99% of the aviaries are the bird room is overcrowded. Overcrowded basically means, we all know, when as individuals, when we get into an overcrowded transport or even overcrowded, if any given function at home, how we feel the home is. I have gone to the most of the aviaries. I have noticed there's a dust all around the bird room. That's the difference that we are going to talk about, the space management. Let's take an example of 10 by 10 room and a small aviary, because if we talk about a bigger rooms, it's very difficult for us to see the actual picture of the room and figure it out how many pairs. When you talk about a 10 by 10, that gives an 100 square feet space for you to keep the birds. As per me, if you keep a cage for a lovebird 3 feet into 1.5 feet or a 2 feet width and 3 feet long, maximum you can keep 35 pairs only. That means wall to wall only, and 3 sides of the wall only, because the 4th side will have an entrance and a ventilations to follow it. So it's very difficult to keep on the 4th side. But what I have noticed when I gone around for the most of the aviaries is, the aviaries 10 by 10, if you see, there are easily 50 pairs kept. How? That's wall to wall, third walls. At the same time, at the entry where the ventilation is there till the window, there are birds kept. Aside, adjacent to the windows, there are birds kept. And this is ensuring there's enough space. And moreover, to add salt onto it, if you also see, there is a rows, 2 rows kept back to back in between the room also, which actually takes you to 50 to 60 pairs. Double the pace that you're supposed to keep in a room is what is kept. That's where you see there's a lot of infection happening, there are a lot of dust, there's a mist of dust around the room all the time. And moreover, if you really see it, the bird room is only 7 feet high, the ceiling is. It's not what we actually required. 90% of the bird breeders are hobbyist, and this is not the primary source of the business like in a chicken poultry, that where it is purely run on a business. We all love birds, we all care for birds. We know how painful if the bird gets an infected or even a small eye infection, it pinches our heart inside, but we don't care when we dump it. Every aviary that you go, the aviaries are overcrowded to the maximum. You can't see even the small space or even a small empty cage kept. It's just filled. They just fill the birds around, so which is not the way that you have to do the bird average. The bird has to be kept minimal in a room, as I said, in a 10 by 10, maximum 35 to 36 pairs. That's close to 70 birds. I am only requesting you to reduce 30% of the birds to ensure the bird is given enough space, enough breathing space in the air a lot. So that's all about the space management. As I mentioned, 10 by 10 can take only 35 to 36 space. Please, my humble request to all the bird fanciers to ensure that we keep minimal birds so that the birds gets enough air and light and does not get only the dust around in the room to breathe. Topic number 2 that we are going to discuss is the time management. It's very crucial in terms of the amount of the time that you can spend in a bird room in a particular given day, because most of the time we are just doing the basic job and getting it out, and we don't give much time to the birds. Its time is basically you need to just observe every bird every day, because the one single day if you do not observe a particular bird, by end of the day you see the bird is sitting on the floor for various reasons. It's just that we don't give much time. At the same time, we don't observe their body language, we don't know about their diet, we don't know about their likings and dislikes in their diet, and we don't know about their activities in the cage. So we don't notice when they're at the beginning of their depression or in the beginning of their illness. We don't know because we don't know all these body languages, their observation in the cage activities, their flying ways, their normal routine that they go to each corner of the cage. We don't notice anything. We just dump in the birds and we put enough money, but the time that we give to those birds are very less, and it is very crucial for you to know each and every bird in your bird room. For that you will have to give a time. If a person, for example, let's zero down to the time management. If a person can give a 1 hour's time in a day in the morning to do the daily routine at the bird's room, he can maximum keep to 25 to 30 pairs. But if you see a person who can give 1 hour's time in a bird room is almost having close to 50 to 60 pairs, which means each time given in the every is just 50% of the time, which means he just takes the food, cleans it, dumps the food in, replaces it in the every inside the cage. He just takes the water, just cleans it, puts it, and then he just shuts the door with the ventilations or whatever possible, with the awning lights, or just opening the mesh door and then just walking it out. This is not going to help to observe your bird. This is not going to help you to know what is your bird is all about. That's the key. 1 hour at a time, but still the observation what we are supposed to do it, we don't do it. We just do our work literally and then walk out. This is also we are doing only on compulsory, that we have to do it. Let's go back. We are hobbyists. We love birds. We care for it. For that, you will have to give a quality time to understand what is the bird is all about and what is happening with each bird in the room or inside the cage. Especially during the breeding seasons coming up, we should be double careful on birds' health and their care. The third topic is all about balanced diet. I don't need to speak much because most of us, we know what is balanced diet is all about. We know of the birds what it eats, but do we all know what a bird likes? Do we all know what kind of food that bird likes and takes it? Each bird, that we don't know. We just every day we think we'll do this food, this food. Everybody has their own food combinations. It depending on the seasons, it depending on the locations, it depending on the availability in the market. Each one decides to go with their own diet. Absolutely good, because you have to do that. But please also rework and maintain the diet that you have to do it balancedly. Given right nutrition, give right multivitamins, all in natural way. Please fix every seasons. Birds need a different diet. Please work on season wise every 3 months or 4 months as per the season is available, as per the food available. Please work on, pick up the diet, fix it for 3 months, and then ensure that you serve it the same on a daily basis, on a routine basis. That is again require a little extra cautious, because mostly we fix it in a table, we write it in a paper, but most of the time we skip the schedules. We just leave it. For example, you have to give once in a week, you think that you'll have to give a corn, but out of 10 weeks, if you take it, there are 2 weeks the corn is mixed for various reasons, because we are busy. But let's not do it. Let's take that extra bit and ensure that corn is given weekly once. The last topic that we are going to discuss today is all about ventilations. Ventilation, as I said in the beginning, it's very crucial for birds to be healthy. As we discussed, let's not keep the birds in the midst of dust inside the boardroom. Let's give us enough space and air. Ventilation, we all know that light and air has to come in, but is it the enough light and air is coming inside the boardroom is the question. When we talk about ventilation, a cross ventilation is what we call as, and most of them in our tradition we call as vastus, which is basically your house main door to be towards the east where the sun rises. It's basically mean the sunlight has to come inside your home to ensure there is not much virus or bacteria around you. But most of our every does not even see the sunlight. Most of them are kept under lights. Most of them don't even know what is sunlight is all about. It's not only vitamin D comes from sunlight, even it also ensures your every is clean, neat, without pollutions inside, because any dampness inside the every can create attract bacteria which can come inside. But if there's a sunlight coming in, your every will be dry. The moment it is dry, the most dangerous mosquitoes can even be away, but the moment it is damp, even the mosquitoes can be attracted. And the ventilation should be cross ventilated, and it should not be on the way. For example, we are keeping opposite direction window and door. There cannot be a bird cage in between where the wind is coming and going through the cage and going out through a door, or it is coming from a door and it is passing through the cage and going to the. Please keep that ventilation air pass cleanly, visibly, clearly, so that the air comes. It ensures it clears all the dust in between, goes out through the other ventilator that we have been kept it. But otherwise, if you keep a cage in between, the bird takes the hit of the dust which is getting collected on the way to the exit. That's what, are we really looking? No, right? As we all love for it. Please, let's not do it. The last and the final thing that I want to discuss is cleaning. We all clean, maybe a weekly once, 10 days once, but is it really okay for a birds to be cleaned at weekly or 10 days once? Because that's where it really matters. If you are using a tray that is really good, where you can just place a newspaper, take it out every 3 days and replace it, maybe weekly once, then you can clean the tray with your whatever the detergents or chemicals that you want to clean. But ensure you at least replace the papers once in 3 days, and once in week you do a deep cleaning of the entire bottom of the cage, side of the cage. At the same time, your tray is clearly cleaned, and if you are used to do a disinfection, please do it weekly once to ensure there's nothing in the air or in the cage which can attract infection to the birds. That's all for today. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Signing off, Murgesh.